Good morning, guys. How are you? Happy Wednesday. Good morning, and welcome to Thoughts of a Maven. I am Dion Watts Williams, the brand messaging Maven. And what that means is I help my clients who are Mavens themselves, absolutely brilliant at what they do. I help them to own their voice, own their brilliance, and talk about it in a way that doesn't make you feel squeamish or uncomfortable. Okay, we talk about all things personal branding, brand positioning, LinkedIn, and mindset. Okay, for the brilliant Black woman. So come on in. Let me know how your week is going, guys. Springtime is officially here, and I'm so excited to check in with you. And again, let me know in the chat if you are new here. Use hashtag newbie with your question, comment. Okay. And of course, if anyone has questions or comments, I want to hear from you because that's what I'm here to do. Today, we're going to talk about something that I am always hearing from, people who come to me, people who are in my DMs, which is Dion, I feel invisible. I hear this all the time from ambitious women, highly educated women, accomplished women who are doing incredible work. But for some reason, they feel like maybe just aren't getting the recognition, opportunities, visibility, or income they know they deserve. And so, what I want you guys to sit with is this possibility that maybe you don't have a visibility problem. You just might be inconsistent. Oops, stepping on toes. It's all right. It's all right because even the best of the best of us, right? We can be challenged, right? When it's time to be consistent. So here are 5 ways to tell that you have an inconsistency problem and not an invisibility problem. Okay. On the surface, I get it. It sounds like it's an external issue, right? You feel like people are overlooking you, like the right rooms just haven't found you yet. But if you dig a little bit under the surface, you'll find that that's not always the case. Okay, so we're going to talk about what those 5 ways are. Okay, guys, good morning. Welcome to the live stream. We are streaming on Facebook and on LinkedIn. Welcome to Thoughts of a Maven. Here are the 5 ways to tell if you have a consistency problem rather than a visibility problem. Okay, guys, let me know if any of this hits home for you. Okay, and as always, if you have questions, I want you to let me know. Okay, number one, you show up, only show up when you feel ready. Guys, I'm going to tell you, like, being ready isn't a feeling. It's not a feeling. You have to do the thing anyway. You maybe tell yourself that you'll post, on LinkedIn when you have something valuable to say, when it's clear, when it's polished, when it feels right. So you wait and you wait and you overthink. But meanwhile, while you're waiting and overthinking and all in your head, weeks are going by and you haven't said anything at all. Visibility comes from repetition, not readiness. If we only did things when it felt right, there would be no action, there would be no movement. Okay. Consistency is about doing the thing whether you feel up to it or not. Okay. This is the work that we do inside of my programs. But yeah, if you only show up when you feel ready, you might have a consistency problem. Number two, you only post one time. You do the one thing, right? Maybe you're waiting to feel ready and miraculously, okay, you feel ready and then you do the thing, but then you disappear. You go silent. And what happens is when you are inconsistent, when you post and ghost, when you post and ghost, your audience is like, well, they're consistent. So maybe like I don't know what to do with that. There is an internal there's just something that we tap into as humans that when we see someone that is posting inconsistently, I can't talk today, When you see someone posting inconsistently, whether it's sporadically in terms of the quantity of posts or also just showing up as a different person every time, we instantly lose trust. You may be a person that has to build up the nerve to post, right? And when you do, it's something meaningful. You might even get a little of engagement, a little bit of engagement, but then nothing, right? And because you did not get the engagement or the results that you think that content should have gotten, you go quiet again, right? Not because you don't care, but because showing up once took way more energy than it should have. So instead of building momentum, you keep starting over. Every time you post and ghost, every time you disappear, you are now resetting the start clock again. And it becomes a crazy cycle. You've got to post on a consistent basis. I'm not saying you have to post 10 times a day. That's another conversation, right? Depending on the platform, it's all about your strategy and your intention. But like you're posting to exercise a muscle. And also, you don't know who's seeing your content. I get that we're into metrics and we need something to measure our efforts by. But like there's someone out there who is waiting for you to share your thoughts. You are a thought leader. There's someone out there waiting for you to share your expertise. And so they can't step into their next level because you're in this rut. You're in this cycle of starting and stopping. Okay. Guys, good morning. Welcome to the live stream. We are streaming on LinkedIn and on Facebook. And we're talking about the 5 telltale signs that you have a consistency problem and not a visibility problem. I talk to people all the time like, Dion, I'm doing all the things. I'm doing all the things, but nobody's really responding to me. I'm not getting the visibility, the opportunities, the stages, the moolah, right? And it's because you're inconsistent. And an inconsistent um, expert is an invisible expert because our audience, whether it's a potential client or a potential employer, doesn't know what to do with someone who's in, like that automatically signals to them that you're not trustworthy. And so you have to begin to trust yourself with your brand and with all the things that you know. Okay. So we have to remove the feeling out of our brand visibility, right? So let me know down in the chat if any of this is hitting home for you guys. But number 3, you treat every piece of content, every post, every DM, every application, every, whatever that thing is that you need to do, you feel like it needs to be perfect. You rewrite it, you edit it, you tweak the tone, you question if it sounds smart enough, right? And by the time you're done, you're either exhausted or you end up not putting it out at all. And so hear me clearly, and I say this all the time. Your competition, those women who are being seen, they aren't obsessing over every sentence. Perfection is a myth. Perfection is not a thing that we should be chasing. Your competition is saying what needs to be said and then they're moving on. Okay? Get out of this idea that things have to be perfect. There's always room for improvement. Absolutely. You don't think, listen, I posted a LinkedIn article this week and I went to take a look at it this morning. And guess what? There were a couple typos. It's okay. You are human, but the overall message needs to get out there. Okay. So don't obsess over every little detail of what you're putting out, especially when it comes to thought leadership, because you want to show that you are human. Okay. Number 4, maybe, and this is a big one because we like to do busy work. Maybe you're more comfortable doing the work than talking about it. We have been conditioned, ladies, to do more, to grind more, to work harder. Maybe you're excellent behind the scenes, right? Maybe you're delivering results, you're leading, you're solving problems. But the moment it's time to talk about what you do publicly, you hesitate. You are like a deer in headlights. because it's no longer about performance. It's about your voice. I get it. I used to hate the sound of my voice. And quite frankly, I still don't love it, but it's the only voice you have. Using your voice without hiding behind a role or a title, it can make you feel exposed. It can make you feel vulnerable. But you have to be your own advocate. No one else is going to know how amazing you are if you're just putting your head down and doing the work, but you're not telling people about it. And that is a deeply rooted cultural, I think, stigma about talking about our work, right? Because we've been taught, especially as women of color, that that's bragging, that that's being, cocky. It's owning your accomplishments. Think about all of the time and the money and the effort that you spent on your degree, your training, your certifications, on honing your craft, and you're not going to talk about the wins. That is crazy to me. So get comfortable using your voice. I don't care if you have to look in the mirror and do an elevator pitch, practice conversations before you go to that networking event or that interview. Get used to your voice. I'll never forget working with a coach a few years ago, and she issued to those of us in her community a challenge to go live every day for 30 days. And I was like, you must be crazy if you think I'm gonna go live. She was like, pick your platform. It could be Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. Go live every day for 30 days. And, she challenged us. She said, it doesn't even have to be 20 minutes. Go live for 5 minutes. Start out with 5 minutes. And guess what? After the first week, y'all, I was okay with just hitting record and just talking. It is a muscle that you have to exercise. Okay, guys, good morning. Welcome to the live stream. For those who are just joining, we are talking about, so let me get my headphones straight here. There we go. 5 ways to tell that you don't have a visibility problem, but a consistency problem, right? So the first sign is that you only show up when you're ready. Secondly, you post and ghost. That means you do the thing once and you disappear. You obsess, number 3, over a thing being perfect. And number 4, you're hiding behind doing the work, but you're not comfortable talking about it. Okay. Number 4, you keep telling yourself that you need a better strategy, right? I call this, and this is a part of, I think, info hoarding. Information is great. You've got YouTube videos, tutorials. We've got digital products and courses and things. Those things are great, right? The internet is great for information, right? So if you're saving posts, if you're buying a ton of courses and not finishing them, if you have endless piles of books with notes in them, and you somehow convince yourself that you'll finally be consistent once you have the right approach, you might have a consistency problem. You don't need any more information, sis. I'm going to hold your hand when I say this. You already know enough to start where you are and with what you have. What you haven't built while you're hoarding all this information, what you haven't built yet is the comfort of being seen. That's it. And I know what it's like, right? Because you feel like a kid in a candy store. You subscribe to people's newsletters. Again, information is great, but I am personally very much aware of when I'm, maybe because I have sensory issues, but like I will unsubscribe from an email list or unsubscribe from someone I'm following if I feel like it's too much. If you're spending the majority of your time hoarding information but not implementing, you could have a consistency problem. Okay, guys, good morning. Welcome to the live stream. We're talking about the 5 ways to tell that you have an issue with consistency and not visibility. Okay, so if you're just joining us, you have to go back up to the top because we covered all of those things. Listen, The women who, your competition, who are being recognized, right? They're getting referrals, they're being invited into rooms that you're not being invited into. They're not the most qualified. They're just visible, right? And the quicker, the sooner you make peace with showing up before it feels natural, that's when those opportunities are going to come to you. Those women who you are seeing who are not as good as you, right? They're not more likable, they're not more talented. They've stopped waiting to feel ready. And most importantly, they don't just disappear, they are consistent. So if you've been telling yourself that you're invisible, I want you to have a come to Jesus meeting with yourself. I want you to have a closer look. Okay. Where are you holding back? Where are you overthinking? Where are you showing up and then disappearing, right? Because your next level is not hiding from you, right? It's actually, it just hasn't seen enough of you yet. And so, one of the things that I've really created was a space to make it easier for you to stop starting over and to start showing up consistently, whether it's on LinkedIn or in any other space. And so I'm really excited about this community that I've built. It's called the Maven Collective. This is a visibility space where we are intentional about building confidence, right? We're practicing consistency and building that consistency muscle and really getting comfortable with using your voice to attract the right opportunities. I actually introduced this community at my workshop last week, right? So there are a few people who are in and are ready to go, but we get started this Sunday on March 29th. And so let me just give you a little snapshot into what the Maven Collective is, right? This is not a membership, right? It's not a course, it's not a mastermind, it's not a content hub. Like, yeah, I'm going to give you tools and things, but this is a visibility activation space for women who are already accomplished, but somehow under recognized. If you know that that visibility is not the core issue, that it's consistency, this is where we reframe that issue. Okay. And there's really the bridge between I know I'm good at what I do and people see me, refer me, and bring me into rooms. That's what the Maven Collective is, right? You're not lacking skill, but what a lot of us are lacking is consistent strategic visibility and the confidence to sustain it. So, in the collective, you're not just learning more, you're becoming visible on purpose. Okay, let me break down really quickly what we do within the 4 months. We have a monthly focus, and then each week within that month gives you something to actually do. Okay. This is, again, a working space. So the first month we focus on saying it like you mean it, your voice, your mindset, getting comfortable on LinkedIn, right? We help you with your LinkedIn profile, right? How do you begin to reintroduce yourself? How do you begin to share an opinion that you might have been holding back on, right? I help you get clear on your leadership lanes, the themes that you can speak on all day, every day, right? How do you begin to post on a consistent basis? How do you comment intentionally every day? Month two, we work more on thought leadership, where you're not just sounding like your resume, where you're having conversations and not just spitting out content. Okay. No, group three, month three, I work with you on getting seen in the right rooms, right? Auditing your circles, being strategic with your visibility, and then begin pitching yourself, right? And then the fourth month is where we work on your authority and alignment so that you can really get positioned and paid, right? How do you begin to become an authority and identify the opportunities that you want, whether it's clients or roles or speaking, right? And the beautiful thing is that we hold each other accountable. We do biweekly check ins, right? I hold you accountable. So if you're posting and ghosting, you're going to hear it. So again, you don't need more information, but there's a follow through that needs to happen without you disappearing. Okay. So make sure you're going over to workwithdion.com. Okay. And register for the cohort. I know you guys are like, Dion, how much is it? There are financing options available. We have monthly payment options. And then there's an added incentive if you decide to pay in full for the collective. Now, I will say that the price, this investment is, because this is our first cohort, it probably won't stay at that price. Okay. And I had someone ask me, like, oh my gosh, when are you offering it again? This is a 4-month program. Okay. So we're probably looking at the fall, but it will not be at this low rate again. But just know you don't need more information. I feel like we've become information hoarders. And my job as a coach is to get my clients out of their own heads and into showing up and doing the darn thing. Okay. So make sure you head over to workwithdion.com/collective, because I want you to get comfortable using the voice that you already have, using the knowledge and the skills that you already have to attract the right opportunities. I would love to see you in the Maven Collective. And as always, if you have questions, feel free to message me. Feel free to go to workwithdion.com and book a call if you feel like, Dion, I kind of have some questions, or I want to explore some other ways to work with you. Okay. But guys, keep shining. And just know that there's a whole community of people that can't step into their next level until you embrace yours. Okay. I'll see you next week. Bye.